Hello everyone, thank you again for coming to this YouTube video. This is our last video of Season 1 of 7 levels. I'm so excited you guys are here. Episode 15 is here. We're going on with a bang. I'm super excited. Please check out our episode 14. It needs some love. There should be a click for it like right up here, right above my finger. I think you should have a button to go see it right over there. Something I just want to throw out there again. I'm so thankful for all the support from Season 1. I could not be... I wouldn't be able to do these interviews without you all. I've met a lot of new people through this process because when I ask the question, whenever I say, hey, who should I go interview? You guys tell me these people that I need to go interview. And so I've met a lot of great people in this process. And let me tell you guys, I have a really exciting name lined up for Season 2. And I've actually already lined up 3 or 4 people for Season 2. So I'm pretty stoked. But with that being said, today's focus is on our new friend, introducing MissTwistedRose, aka Alyssa Rose. How are you doing, Alyssa Rose? Welcome to this game podcast show type thing. I don't know what it is, but welcome. How are you doing?
Hey, thank you. I am doing so well, and I'm really excited to be here. So, thanks for the great intro, and hi, everybody.
So, go ahead and take a second. I have your name listed below your thing as Alyssa Rose. Would you rather be MissTwistedRose? I can change that really quick.
Yes, I would.
Okay, I got you. But go ahead and take a second to just tell everyone that might be checking you out on YouTube. What kind of content do you provide on your Twitch?
Yeah, sure. So I am mostly a Pokemon game streamer. So I play like 95% of my content is Pokemon, and the other 5% is swearing. So that's what you're in store for. It's a mature audience space. So we do have that little warning label, but mostly it's nothing too intense. It's just because I like to, swear words are cathartic. But anyway, about my content. So yeah, lately I've been playing Pokemon Red Glitches, and it has been super fun. I am messing this game up so badly, like in a good way. So that's been a highlight, and occasionally you can catch a graphic design stream on my channel. Every now and then I play kind of a more violent game like Doom or Hades, because Pokemon doesn't always satisfy my need for violence. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I may become a little more of a variety streamer in the future. But I have Legends Arceus up on deck right now.
You haven't played any of Arceus yet? Oh wait, no. Actually, I know you have because I saw a clip for you. I've actually seen. I watched your drowning clip. I actually saw it before you sent it to me. I actually saw it before you sent it to me. What a weird bug. But anyways, what have you? I mean, that game literally just came out. What 2 weeks ago? What are your thoughts about it so far?
Oh wow, it's so good. It is so good. It adds the complexity that I think some of us more like advanced gamers with like real action, real time live action kind of things. It's super satisfying in that way. But just because it's an open world and it's so immersive, I feel like they've taken like every aspect of the Pokemon world a little more literally, and you can kind of see that in um. How can you see that? It just is. It is. It's you really feel like you're there, and you bond with your Pokemon. It's great, but you also get to chuck Pokeballs at their heads, kind of catch them off guard.
Yeah.
And there's this other aspect of danger, because you as a player character can be attacked
Yeah.
by Pokemon, and it's wild. So anyway, you mentioned a glitch, and yeah, I managed to find a glitch where for example, I was riding on my Basculegion surfing mount, jumped over an island, threw a ball to battle a wild Pokemon, and then my character fell into the water and drowned. Now, in combat, And, like, I think it's a glitch, but it might just also be a representation of, like, how savage this game actually is. I'm not entirely sure,
Yeah.
but I wanna believe I found a glitch, so
Well, yeah, without, letting out too many spoilers, but whenever I found out that that another character met a death very similar to what you had, I was literally like kind of heartbroken about it. But
Ah!
yeah. But uh yeah, I think exactly what you're saying is really pivotal. It's almost like this game is like the missing link of like what we wanted to know about Pokemon, and it's like uh
Mhm.
how far it's come and where it was. And so, you know what I mean? It's like it literally lets us, because there's so many fan theories about how why Pokemon are the way they are and everything like that. And this kind of really clarifies like there was a time that the world was completely different and Pokemon were still here doing things
Yeah,
completely differently. Um,
and humans are just trying to cling to life and, we're not at the top
right.
in this
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, super
Uh,
interesting that way. Yeah.
yeah, it really is. Um, and as a side note, it's actually a really fun game to shiny hunt in. I think it's so far the best game to shiny hunt in too, because of some of the features and ways to make them spawn more. And so,
Yeah.
that's really kind of brought my passion back for shiny hunting in a big way. So,
Believe it or not, I actually have not caught a shiny yet. But that's on me. I haven't been trying that hard. But I was like, everyone's finding these random shinies. I'm like, I somehow have literally not found a single one. So that kind of sucks. But whatever, it is what it is. So I have a certain icebreaker question for you. Something that stands out to me about your content that I'm really, really curious about is
okay.
your hula hooping. Can you tell me more about your hula hooping?
Yes, I can. Um, so I am a acrobatic hula hoop performer.
What does that mean?
Uh, so I I have a little bit of background doing contortion and then technical hula hooping, and so I've actually combined the two to come up with some really unique tricks. And I in the past I did a lot of corporate events for hula hooping, like a company throws a big party and they hire performers. I show up. But my biggest passion with it is I actually have LED hoops that light up, and these hula hoops are actually they're called smart hoops, and they have, like, visible patterns in the light trails, and so that's my specialty. I've branched out to another prop that's called LED fans, and I've done that on stream. Actually, I did a Pikachu cosplay electric light show, and it was a blast. It was a blast. So I definitely want to be adding more performance arts opportunities into my stream. I actually December was my 10-year hoop anniversary, so it's probably the longest I've really like stuck to anything in my life, honestly. And, I'm also sponsored. I'm sponsored by Mood Hoops, and they're the biggest hula hoop manufacturing company. Well, okay, it's a small company, but they make the top LED
Oh,
hoops
okay.
for performances. So, I'm very honored.
Yeah. Well, I just imagine a future in which you're invited to like a TwitchCon to be like this entertainer of like, you are a Twitch streamer that has this incredible ability to just impress and awe. And I've seen the clips of you like literally like your hula hoops are like writing words. And
Yeah.
I'm like very shocked at the level of technology it would take to do that, but also the technical skill, because like clearly that means you must be like rotating them in a way that's consistent enough that we can read the word. Because I imagine if you break the consistency, the hula hoop won't actually say the word anymore. It would be like the speckled lights again, right? Am I wrong about that, or like how does that? Like I'm so curious how that works.
It's a little bit of a complicated answer. So the the hoops basically treat each light as a pixel. And so you're actually working in very small pixel art when you make these designs. And I'm not entirely sure on the hula hoops, but my fans actually have an accelerometer in them, so it can tell if you're moving it really fast or slow, and then
Really?
it helps make the
Oh,
shapes, like, consistent, and then my fans are actually shaped like a circular wedge, and so they stretch it out so the picture doesn't look all small on the bottom, like, they stretch the top out, so, like, a square would still look like a square. So it's crazy actually what goes into these.
wow. That's
Yeah,
incredible. Oh my gosh.
but to add to that, it's actually one of my niches because I am also like, I come from a marketing design background. I'm a web designer, so I actually do custom, pattern design for my higher end clients, and then I sell pattern packs. Actually, I put out free pattern packs online, and they're just donation based, so I've done I put out a Christmas. Super highlight was I made the New Year's ball design, so I put the year on it, and it's been really fun in the past. Like before, the world changed a little bit. I got to be like the LED New Year's ball at some of the biggest parties in San Diego. It was really awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna be putting up a Valentine's Day set too pretty
Oh,
soon here.
cool. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure one of the clips that I've seen you do was actually the New Year's one. I'm pretty sure you put out a pretty bit, like I think I saw it. I've seen it in multiple areas, like on your TikTok and your Twitter. I think is where I've seen that potentially.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Maybe I'm getting twisted, but
No, you're right.
anyways, that that's pretty incredible. I'm pretty impressed by that. Color me impressed, Miss Twisted Rose. But what we're here to do today is to play a game called Seven Levels, and this is a game slash interview podcast game show thing that I've created for content creators with the purpose of giving content creators a an outlet in which to express themselves on a deeper level that they might not be able to while they are live streaming, because the nature of stream is so fast. It's here and there. There's a new person saying hi, there's an old person saying bye. It's hard to keep a consistent conversation going throughout the whole length of the stream. So with that being said, I thought it would be a great idea to be able to give a tool for streamers to be able to really talk about some things and then to be able to show that to their chat. So I'm recording this today. It's gonna go on YouTube. I'm gonna it'll probably go on YouTube tomorrow, and I hope my hopes for this whole thing is that you and I just have a really great conversation, and it's something that you will be able to show your community from here on out. Just a little bit more about you whenever the stream is popping a little too fast for you to be able to really get down to business about like who you are and like expound on some of these things. So with that being said, Miss Twisted Rose, are you ready?
I am so ready.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready.
Okay. Don't be nervous. You're gonna do great. You're gonna do really well. I've got some cool questions for you. Some are ones that we've never heard before, and some of them are ones that we've used before, just because I like them so much. But your first question, Miss Twisted Rose, level 1 of 7 levels.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite type of rose?
Do I have a favorite type of rose? I actually do. I don't. Okay, I have 2. Well, I
Okay.
have 3. Oh no.
Oh no. That's all right.
I have
I'll
3.
put them all. I'll get images and I'll throw them up on the screen. You let me know what they are.
Okay. So, there's a type of rose called it's like a midnight something, but it's the closest thing to a black rose that there is. And it's actually more of a really deep, like, purplish red.
Hmm.
So I have actually throughout my life was on a quest for a while to determine if black roses actually exist in nature
Hmm.
and in real life. I haven't gotten a straight answer on it. It's kind of a mythical thing. Uh,
Oh, interesting.
they they probably don't, but that's the closest natural thing that like you can find. Um, There's also a really beautiful rose called, Dior, and it's actually, from the designer Christian Dior, uh, and it's like the perfect romantic shade of red, it's just very gorgeous.
Okay, okay.
A and the 3rd one is, it's actually a mix of white and red. I don't know what the pattern's called, but it's got, like, streaks and speckles, and it just kind of reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, like, painting the roses red kind of thing. It looks like they've been splashed or something. So,
Oh. Do you have
yeah.
a special fixation to Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah, I do. I do.
That's a really awesome throwback throwback cartoon. But um well, congratulations. That's first one. Not too bad, right?
Not too bad.
All right. That
I'm
that
here
that
for it.
that's level 1.
'Kay.
Favorite 2, and honestly, this kind of like probably leads into what we were just talking about. But uh what was your favorite cartoon character growing up?
Oh, goodness. Okay, let me think through this. I My favorite cartoon was it was Sailor Moon,
Oh,
but I don't
yeah.
know if I had a favorite, really. Uh, I don't know, there was Inuyasha too, and I kind of had, like, a little crush on the brother, Shishomaru, who's, like, really evil and, like, very suave looking. I don't know why that's, like, my type. So,
Okay, okay.
yeah. I'd say out of all the Sailor Scouts, though, I like actually, I like Saturn a lot. I don't know, I'm into the whole anti-hero thing,
Yeah,
so
yo, I totally vibe with that. Like growing up, like my favorite characters were always the anti-heroes. Like one of my favorite cartoons growing up was Digimon, and Matt, so the guy that has Garurumon, he was always my favorite character. Ever since then I've been like I felt like yeah, anti-heroes are the way to go. But
okay, is he the little dinosaur guy?
no, so the main character is the little dinosaur guy.
Yeah.
The guy I'm talking about is like he's got like his character looks like a dog kind of like
Oh, okay, I'm familiar.
yeah.
I'm familiar.
But
Mhm.
but yeah, I remember Sailor Moon in Inuyasha. I used to watch Sailor Moon. I thought it was like a what would you call it? Like a guilty pleasure. It would come on after school or whatever, and I'd be like, I'm just watching this until my other show comes on, kind of thing. But I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of a cool show. It's
You
kind of a
liked
neat
it.
show. Yeah. And I definitely liked Inuyasha. I thought it was really interesting. I thought it's so curious to see that like cat ears have come a long way, and I wonder if it's because of Inuyasha. You know what I
It
mean?
definitely helped, I'm sure. Yeah.
Surely, right? Surely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think it is about anti-heroes that draws you to them?
They all have a enticing complexity to them. And something about an anti-hero is they're not they're kind of they kind of operate on the threshold between being good and being bad. And sometimes I think in my opinion the most iconic anti-heroes are actually Batman and Catwoman, cuz
Oh,
Batman has like an intense darkness to him, but he operates for good. But like Catwoman does the things she does, like, partially because she had a really dark background, like, a rough upbringing,
mhm.
and she's advancing, like, herself, and they kind of have this attraction, because 'cause they're both a little bit on the cusp, and they're, like, right between we call Batman a good guy and Catwoman a bad person, but,
Right.
so a lot of it's a matter of, perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, what's another show that did that? Um There was this recent show, a new superhero show, and they kind of did the same thing. Oh, it was the one with Homelander in it. Oh
Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
I can't believe I
The
forget.
boys. The boys.
Yes, okay, that show has an astounding, example of anti-heroes, where these guys who are actually on the run the whole time during the show are actually operating out of a good place, and it
Mhm.
turns out, like, the main characters are actually bad and, like, no one knows it. So anyway, those guys in the background, those are little anti-heroes.
Yeah, and even in that squad, you have like different levels of moral compasses, right? Like literally the leader of the squad might as well be a villain, but because his enemy is like actually the baddest bad guy, he's a good guy, right? Like it's like so interesting how that works out, you know?
Mhm.
Uh, man, it's a great show. That's a really good show.
It is.
Um,
I'm glad you remember the name. Okay.
yeah. Hard to figure that one. I'm actually terrible with names, so I'm surprised I remembered it. But yeah, you said Homelander. I was like, oh yeah, that dude. Yeah, I know who that is. But
Mhm.
well done. That's level 2. You're doing great, Miss Twisted
Awesome.
Rose. You're doing really well. So level 3. This is kind of your last like kind of easy. It gets pretty deep from here. Okay, I just want to let you know. Like this one's not
Okay.
too bad, but after this, so just be prepared. Get ready. Level 3, Miss Twisted Rose. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
Oh god, how do I even say? For a while I wanted to be an astronaut,
Hey,
and and then I wanted to be a slinky, and I'll explain.
what?
Uh,
Okay, okay, okay.
okay, so this goes back to hula hooping. I remember as a kid, I saw an incredible circus act on TV, and this woman had like hula hoops that covered like the whole way up her body, and she was like
Oh yeah,
hula
yeah.
hooping them
I've
like a
seen that.
slinky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's it's actually like the way they do it. So there's different ways to hula hoop multiple hoops on your body. Either you do what's called splitting them, where you're like, I have one I'm manipulating in my hands. I have one that's like right here on my chest, one on my waist, like one around my legs. And you articulate each one, but these slinkies are really fun because they actually like tie like 25 hoops together, which you just can't tell. And so it just looks like you're just a
Uh,
giant slinky. And
wow.
I think it stuck with me because then as soon as I was an adult, I'm like, I'm gonna hula hoop. So anyway, um, but I'm actually happy with what I do right now. I feel like it actually took me a while to find the thing that was. Oh, okay. Well, adult life. We're not talking about adult life, but anyway. I didn't have a real clear vision, to be honest. I just had to experiment a lot until I found something that was my calling. So
Yeah. Well, we can talk about your adult life. I liked the tangent you're about to go on. You're
okay.
happy with where you landed. Tell me more about that.
Um, so I actually have a bachelor's degree in web design and development. And so it's a bachelor's of science. So it wasn't really a marketing perspective, it was more of a technical perspective. So I was a little code monkey. I coded all my homework. And then eventually I was a corporate code monkey. And then I worked for charities, and now I'm doing my own thing. So I'm taking some freelance web design clients, and it's good. It was actually like I had a fine art background. I took like 4 years of art in high school. Um, I knew it wasn't for me because I got to a level where people were wanting to buy my artwork, like this piece behind me right here. I had a gallery. I had a gallery owner want to buy that from me, and I couldn't part with it because I was like, my art is intrinsically me, and it feels like I'm giving myself away to give it away.
Mhm.
Now, at the time, I was a little bit ignorant, and I didn't realize how well I could create like reproductions or whatever. Um, but I kind of distanced myself from that. I took like every marketing, like graphic design class or any art class in college. But the one thing that finally stuck was web design because it was like the perfect balance of complexity to keep me engaged and like reward factor and using a lot of my natural talents. And it just was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. So yeah.
Well, that's really awesome. So, I mean, here you are as an adult. Do you mind if I ask you your age on stream, or would you rather not say?
Um Well, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. 'Cause I'm a lot older than I look. It's all the virgin sacrifices.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
uh,
so no. Don't ask.
well, that being said, I'm just, I'm curious, like, I mean, here you are, you're like, you're a sponsored hula hooper and content creator, and you have a college degree. It almost sounds like it ended up like way better than it could have been, right? Like you have so many options and you're so versatile. Like, do you ever look back on that and think about like, if you would have well, actually, I have two questions about this. First of all,
Okay.
when did you realize you needed to go to college for something like instead of just like fully pursuing hula hooping?
College came first, actually. Uh, and I was, like, in web design class trying to save up for an LED hoop, so that
Oh,
was
okay.
actually the order. Um, I actually had a partner at the time who really encouraged me to pursue my education, and, he was very successful and pretty far along in his career, and so I really just was looking at things from a business mindset and couldn't validate the cost, which is why I never went to college, but web design is actually the kind of thing. Okay, no, you don't always need a degree to be a good web designer because the nature of the web, you can it's really good. Web people are really good about teaching people how to be good at building websites. It's just kind of like what it is. So you can learn a lot on your own. But it was the first thing like it felt like it would pay off. So,
Mm,
uh, yeah, I just had some good encouragement. I'm glad I did it.
hmm. Well, good. Well, that kind of answers my second question too. Is like now looking back on like where you are, like
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry,
No, go ahead.
sorry. Um, I waited until I was a little bit older to start college so I could get more, like, scholarships. What it is grant money. Okay, because
Okay.
like, at a certain age, at least here in, the USA, like, you're sometimes you're in a bad spot if your parents make enough money that the school thinks they should help you, but they don't have enough money to actually share with you. So by the time you're 25, your parents' income level doesn't matter anymore. And so I managed to get like financial aid in that regard. And then I got a big ass scholarship that paid for like a third of it. So I was like, okay, I'm getting discount college. So let's just do the thing.
Yeah, I feel that. Anytime you can get it for less, when it comes down to education, you should do that for sure.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I guess I'll just tell you because as a surprise treat, I'm in my early 30s. So,
Mm. Well, you definitely do not look like you're in your 30s. I mean, I'm actually 30, so I turn 31 in 3 months. So, we're
nice.
we're in the same boat of the age of life.
It's a good age.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I think most of my followers can put it together anyway when I say I played Pokemon Red as a kid, you know?
Right.
Yeah, some
That's a clear indicator of what age you're born, or like
it's a
yeah.
dead giveaway,
Yeah.
yeah.
You were
Anyway,
you were old enough to have a Game Boy and play Pokemon and remember it. Okay, yeah. So you
this
had
is
to have
my
been.
this is my actual childhood, Super Nintendo that I play my
Wow.
childhood Game Boy games on, and I just set it up to stream anyway. And so, yeah, like, this was mine. This is what I grew up on.
That's
So
super
anyway.
impressive that you have it. It's probably yeah. That's actually really cool. I don't know where my Nintendo 64 is, and I feel shameful of that. But I still have my Game Boy though, my Game Boy Color. So still got it. But also
Awesome.
might I suggest a Pokemon that you could add to your theme that would be really dope as like a
Oh.
plushie. Okay. Uh Flapple and Appleton from Sword and Shield really match your hair and they match the guys you got in the back. So and Appleton is like one of my favorite Pokemon ever. So
Nice. I have a Espeon showing. It's hiding back here.
I love Espeon. The evolutions are my personal favorite, but I mean I know everyone says that, but yeah, that's where I am.
Flapple is brilliant. It's great.
Yeah.
They're really good, yeah. Um, actually, so I watch Pokemon Center, like, their merchandise official merchandise store, like a hawk, and when they came out with Apple
Appleton and Flapple.
Appleton, I swear I know, Appleton, um, they, like, sold out immediately, like,
I'm
all of
sure.
them.
He's
They
just
had
so
a
cute.
giant they had a giant one, and he
Oh,
he was gone, and then the little apple was, like, gone instantly, so it's I don't know if I could get those plushies even if I tried.
yeah. Probably not, but they would fit really well. They would fit really well with the aesthetic you got going on. But
Thank you.
um okay. You are currently at the halfway point. If you answer this, you're at the halfway point. Miss
Okay,
Twisted Rose, that was a great level 3. I really appreciate your honesty, and I'm so excited that you're doing this. Here is level 4. Miss Twisted Rose,
'kay.
what's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Oh my gosh. What do I even say? Um, I'm not the most spontaneous person, actually. I I can't even think of it, really.
Hmm.
I'm okay, I'll come up with something, just give me a second.
Okay, no worries.
Probably moving to Chicago after never seeing it before. That was the most spontaneous thing.
Wow, tell
So,
me about that. What happened? Why'd you do it?
um, let's see. It was I just had a good opportunity. Uh, ended up in some like corporate housing for a little while, so it was pretty easy, all like set up with furniture and things. And I had an incredible time out there. The culture was really amazing. I missed the San Diego weather a lot while I was there because the snow was pretty intense. I eventually came back, but that was like a hell of a trip. I was there for like a year and a half.
Mm.
So a lot of people were like freaking out I was leaving, but it really expanded me as a person a whole lot.
Okay, what?
Even though it felt like kind of scary.
So you're naturally from the San Diego area and moved to Chicago, and now you've moved back. Is that what you're telling
Yeah.
me? Okay. So
Well, my family's kind of from Orange County, which is like South LA, but I'm a Californian born and raised, so yeah.
mm. So what do you think you like learned in Chicago that you don't think you could have learned in California?
Mm, okay. So they just have a very rich artistic culture there. San Diego does as well, but Chicago goes hard at everything they do. They just go so hard, and even the people, they go so hard. Even their parties, they go really hard. And, just something about their drive, just, like, in everyone I was seeing was really inspiring. Um, I felt like their average, like, circus performer, like, person was, like, a whole notch above. I got a lot more into spinning fire in San Diego sorry,
Oh,
in Chicago.
wow.
So I actually had, like, some nightclub gigs where I would do, like, fire performance and stuff. Uh, but there they actually had really good, like, fire safety protocols in that city and were really, like, responsible, but not in a way that wasn't fun. And that's inspiring to see too, because like, San Diego is a little more reckless when it comes to, like, people spontaneously burning, doing fire spins in places. It just kind of is a fact.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Just I don't know. It was inspiring and I feel like I got a really, like, taste for what passion looks like there.
Mm. I like that
Yeah.
answer. That's really cool. I'm curious though, what did it take for you to decide to uproot and go somewhere completely different?
What did it take? Honestly, like, a lot of letting go of control. So, yeah.
How'd that feel? I mean, are you typically a person that really likes to be in control, or was that easy for you?
Uh, okay. It's a complicated answer because I used to be a person who needs a high level of control, but I've done a number of things in my life to try to break that pattern. And yeah, like actually the reason I got into colored hair was like a huge way of me breaking that pattern. So, yeah, I don't know if that really answers your question, but there you go.
It kind of does. It kind of sounds like there was a time that you definitely did need to be, and like maybe letting go of it and going to Chicago was a good time for you to be able to just be like, yeah, I actually, you know, don't need to be controlled or in control. I can just exist and be what I want to be, kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
um, I was curious. So speaking of your hair,
Yes.
um, is green your favorite color, or is
It
just the
is.
one you like? Okay, it is
It's
cool.
my favorite color.
You know, one of the questions I was gonna ask you earlier, but I decided not to because I didn't know how to ask it. But I was gonna ask you to say, which now I am asking you. I'm reneging on what I was gonna say, but uh,
Is this is this like a half a question?
yeah, I'll give you a half. I'll give you a half credit for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Which part of the rose are you? Are you the stem? Or are you the blossom?
I'm both.
Both.
Oh,
See,
yes, definitely.
See, I kind of figured that would be the answer. I was like, like, yeah. But like, tell me in which way you are the blossom, which way you are the stem.
Oh, okay, so my first internet alias was Petals and Thorns.
Ah,
Uh, um, yeah, and, I don't know, I think that I am a little bit more assertive and, aggressive than what most people would expect from a female. So that's maybe some thorn side. Um, I'm really a person who believes in like setting boundaries and that sort of thing, and it's an important thing to do. But like in a matter of perspective, a lot of sometimes people can be resentful when you set boundaries because 'cause they're like, "Oh, this person won't do this or that thing for me."
yeah.
So I don't like to be a pushover, and I really don't think that I'm a mean person, but I I do have a bit of sass. I try to be very careful at how I aim it, and never, like, insult a person, more like insult a situation kind of thing, if that makes any sense. Um,
Mm,
and I kinda have a dark sense of humor, so
mm,
that's the thorns.
got it.
Uh, the rose part, I think, has more to do with, like, my appearance and my personality, not well, I eh, okay, that's personal opinion. But, Rose is actually my middle name. So, it's
Oh.
yeah, it's my middle name. And I think so much of my life purpose is driven by trying to create aesthetic beauty. Uh, but also okay, I'm just gonna tell you my favorite art quote ever is, Com comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. And that is, like, so deeply ingrained in me as, like, I love to create beautiful things, I also really love to create edgy things, and then sometimes I'll create edgy things that are also beautiful. And I kind of just like to get a rise out of people, if that makes sense. So,
Mm, interesting. I have so many questions. Okay, let me plan this out.
okay.
I had a question that I asked someone a while back on another thing about the importance of a name and the importance of uh
Hmm,
the name's effect on a person in their life.
deep.
And yeah, and so I kind of wonder, like, I wonder what you would think if you were never named Rose. What do you think would what do you think your vibe would be? How different would it be? How similar would it be?
That's a good question. Um, I think my vibe would really be similar. I may not have as many roses plastered around because on some level it's a brand thing.
Right.
Um, but I think at the core of the name Miss Twisted Rose is like a dark beauty aesthetic, and that would still be my aesthetic. So,
Hmm.
um, similar, I'd say. Like I love black and whites, and I love punches of bright color at the same time. Um, so I kind of would still like exist in that realm, I think. So
Hmm.
I
Interesting.
actually I actually used to not like to tell people my middle name when I was a kid because I was a tomboy and I thought it was too girly. Can you believe that? No, it's like yeah,
uh,
I don't know. I think I would still be pretty much the same me.
well,
Unless it was a middle name I hated, then I would be a little I know it'd still be me, but just a slightly bit more resentful.
right. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. But
yeah.
like imagine if your middle name was Daisy. What do you think that would like do you think that would like change everything?
I do. I do, and I probably would keep it a secret. Yeah. Um,
there's no bite back with daisies. Daisies are just free picking. There's no thorns, right? There's no yeah.
yeah. So, also, if you think of names like poetry, when you say certain words, they have a cadence to them. So, there's even just the way your name sounds, aside from what it like cognitively means. And then
Right.
there's actually whole branches of like numerology, which look into how like what your name is and like what letters or how many letters are in your name. I am not familiar enough with this to really go into much detail, but a lot of that is based on like your life purpose and like power coming from your name. Um and I don't know if it's true. I think from what I've seen it's somewhat relevant. Um I can't remember my life pattern path number, sorry, but it was pretty accurate when I looked at it. Um, but honestly, also, like, consider sometimes people get really odd names from their parents, like, Elon Musk and Grimes named their child after, like, Jet, okay? So how many awkward moments is that gonna create? Okay, and I don't know. Um, Also, I just wanna say, like, my first name, it's Alyssa, and my whole life people mispronounce it, and so I get really agitated with that, so I was like when it was time, I put, like, a ton of thinking into coming up with my brand name. I was like, "Okay, it has to be words people can spell and people can say." And because my performer name before this was something else. I would say it like if people and I was getting a big enough following that people would like see me on Instagram and then see me in public. And I remember this one time this girl ran up to me and she was like, it's you." And then I just saw this like slight look of panic in her eye, just ever so slight. And then she realized that she didn't know how to say my name. And then she kinda, like,
Oh,
she kinda blurted it out, and
wow.
so, anyway, it's like it kinda, like, wrecked her confidence in that moment, but not only just that, but, so my old circus performer name was Spiral Issa, so someone named me, I thought it was cute, so it was, like,
Okay.
Spiral and Alyssa. No one could say it, no one can spell it. So if I was, like, street performing and someone was like, "What's your name?" I say, "I'm Spiralissa." They never find me on Instagram. Ever.
Because they can't
Never
spell
once,
it. Yeah.
okay? I changed my name to Miss Twisted Rose. I say, "I'm Miss Twisted Rose!" They find my Instagram. Like, yeah.
Uh,
Anyways, that was a lot, but yeah, I'm kind of, I also have a passion for branding and stuff, so this is actually, like, a topic I haven't realized I've thought so much about, but I really have.
yeah, you really have put in a lot of thought in about it, and which again, it's like kind of like is part of the argument towards there is a lot in the name. The name really does affect somebody because you wouldn't have thought this stuff if your name was, Mary Jane. Like everyone, right? Like everyone knows how to
Yeah,
spell and say both of those names, right? So it's like,
yeah.
um, yeah, but that's really cool. I really appreciate that conversation from you because that's like, I think that's super insightful for people to understand that like a name is a pretty important thing, and especially I think there's a whole another category that's dedicated to the rejection of the name, which you kind of talked about a little bit, like rejecting Rose whenever you felt more like a tomboy, which I'm sure was like the product of the world stigmatizing you as like a young girl that didn't like align with passions that they thought you should align with, or whatever. But and now here you are like accepting it. But I've literally never gone by my first name, and I don't like my first name.
Mm.
And then my first name has a very common nickname, in which I also hate even more. And
Oh, no.
and so like people that don't know me, particularly older people who somehow learn my first name and think I go by that and then decide to call me the nickname. So it's like okay, so my first name is Daniel,
'Kay.
and growing up older people would call me Danny, but my name is not Danny. My
Oh, yeah.
my name is barely even Daniel. Like that's just on the paper. You know what I mean? That's not my name. So
Mhm.
I think there's a whole nother world and realm of rejection for the name, but also like there's something beautiful in accepting the name once you realize the strengths that it provides you almost. Like it's so weird. I still haven't accepted Daniel, okay, but I'm sure there's something pretty
And that's
cool
fine.
to like maybe when I'm older I'll be like, you know what, I really respect this name now, but as of right now I do not. But um
And you don't have to. You know, I'm not putting this out there as advice necessarily, but I do know a couple men who changed their names to, like, different male names, and they just felt better. Like, they felt like they were named wrong, and, like, just something about the vibe was better for them.
mhm.
Um, so, I think that if people really wanna do that, they should go for it. Or if you don't wanna go by your first name, you have every right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And there's a whole lot of like interesting things about it. Have you ever thought about having kids?
it's crossed my mind.
So have you ever thought about like names potentially?
Just a little bit. Um, okay, so I kinda wanted Patrick as a boy name, but then I told my best friend in high school, and she named her first son Patrick.
What? Really? Oh my
Yeah, I was like, "You jerk."
god. Wow. What a thief.
Hang on. Plushie down. Plushie down.
Oh.
Um, no, I kind of honestly, just kind of in general, I was never really the little girl to fantasize about her future wedding, her future husband, her future family, and it's only been, like, really, really, really recently in my life that those things have become wants for me. Um, yeah, but even not even my biggest motivation, so,
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, I mean, I just think there's something to be said about like from what you and I have learned about rejecting names, like all of a sudden it feels like there's a big responsibility in imparting names, right? Like what name are we going to impart onto somebody? Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
Feels it feels intense. But anyways, we've spent entirely too long in in level 4, but I really
Okay.
appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, no, this has been a great interview so far. Thank you so much. But that is the halfway mark. Congratulations, you made it halfway. You have
Yes,
3 more
yes,
questions.
yes. Okay.
Level 5. Miss Twisted Rose, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Okay, what's funny is I joke I have a 5-year plan for my hair. Anyway,
Okay.
that's just a joke. Um, so I definitely still want to be streaming and playing video games, because that's something that's really enriched my life in a big way, and I love the people who I've met through the Twitch community. I also want to be set up in my new an art business and having a web design business, which is something I've been getting off the ground recently. Um, but I think my ultimate goal would actually be to run a full service marketing agency.
Mm,
So that would probably be like the pinnacle. So
yeah.
we'll see. Um, I also don't like managing people, so it might just be me doing just the niche things I feel like doing. So, just be web design, but we'll see. I
So
don't
I
know.
I think the 5-year plan question is like super overdone, which is why I like to set it up. But then I actually have this follow up that I think isn't as common. Um, what is something you think you'll be done with in 5 years?
Not my Pokemon plushies. Um, I okay.
So I mean
I
I mean done with in like two
no, no,
different
I
ways.
have
Like
I
there's like
okay.
you could say done with as in like completed, or you could say done with as in you've left it in the past. So either way.
Oh. Hmm. Hmm. So I will say that I am personally a believer of manifesting, and I consciously focus on things that I'm ready to let go of my life and bring into my life on a fairly regular basis. So I feel, even though I'm a little bit fragmented with like how many things I have my hands in doing, that I feel like they're all kind of the right things. Um, but I think that I this is weird to say, but I want to be a little more done with some, like, relationship attachments to people who aren't, like, good in my life.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's it. I just have some of these relationships that try to just suck me back in, like friends or relatives, and I everyone's got their different, like, philosophies about this or what works for them, but I'm kind of a firm believer of, like, just distancing myself from people who have proven a track record of really, like, not being good for me.
Hmm.
Um, and so it to some people, it can seem like a cold thing to do, but it's something I need to manage, like, my anxiety, my depression, and so I have to kinda put myself and my mental health first, but I still kinda struggle with, like, wanting to go back to some of those people, and I just wish those, like, ties weren't still nagging at me so long, so many years later. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's people. There's some people I wanna be done with and
Hmm.
just be happy with it, I guess. I don't know if happy is the right word, but just being content with it. So,
What do you think it is about people that struggle to actually just like freely let go of things?
that's a good question. Um, and people definitely like nostalgia. They like the familiar. And sometimes people just are really attached to the way they felt when they were with a certain person.
Mhm.
And so they may be wanting to get a piece of that back, even a piece of themselves back by like being in this person's life or something. Um, And so I people also kind of struggle with change sometimes. Um and they it's hard to lose an old friend, I guess. Or even times there's actually like a lot of ego involved in this, I think. Um where like people don't want to accept that like someone else has moved on or that someone else doesn't need you. I don't know. It, it's pretty complex, really, but
Yeah.
there's a lot in there.
Yeah. Which would you say is the reality for you out of those things that you just said? What do you think is the one that keeps you from letting go of some of these older things, these past, um, you know, hurdles and stuff like that?
Um, okay, good question. I mean, it's it's hard to replace the depth of someone you know like really well because it takes years to build that up. Um, and so it can hurt to miss that, honestly. Uh, and then there's just certain people who I had a lot of fun with, but kind of took advantage of me. So I couldn't really keep that up. But then there's other people in my life who are very controlling and want me to act in a very certain way. Otherwise, they don't support me. And I'm I just don't care enough to try to be someone else to make someone else happy.
Mm.
It's taken me like a really long time in my life to come out with my authentic self because I grew up with a lot of repression is the best way I can put it in a very strict household. And so I'm like, I'm not turning back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. So are you telling me you probably have family members that don't like that your hair is green? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Mm.
You nailed it. How did you know?
I've seen this stuff before.
Yeah.
um, I think it's such a generational thing sometimes, and then I think different people get hit by it a little bit more than other people, depending on, like you said, which family it is. I definitely had some friends that could have had whatever color hair they wanted to, but then I have some friends that aren't even allowed to, like, not wear a belt, and it's just like, what does that have to do with anything, right? You know what I mean? It's like, um,
Yeah.
super super curious thing. Um, with that being said, what do you think? Sorry, I don't mean to talk about this, but this definitely was not in my plans. It's just kind of like the way the conversation has gone. But
Okay.
if you had one kid, how do you think you would impart on them that they should seek out who they are in like a healthy way?
Um, it's important to eh, okay. This is a great question. I think it's important to expose them to a lot of different like life paths or different activities that they can try out so they can see what they like because that kind of worked for me. Um, but also reinforce that they should have the ability to say if they don't like something and not be forced to do it and kind of give the child a little more personal autonomy. Like, obviously, not let them be wild and uncontrolled, but, um, like, letting them know that they kinda have some influence in what they wanna be.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. I mean, I think there's so many different things that come into play when it comes down to raising a kid. But I think the one that you said that gets overlooked the most is listening to when they say they don't like something. I mean, as the parent, of course, we're going to be called to overstep certain things because if they say I don't like school, I don't want to go to school, and it's like literally like, but I mean, everyone needs an education, so you have to go to
Yeah.
school. But then I think the next step is like, but let's work on a way to figure out how you can like it. How can we help you enjoy school? A little bit more and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um,
I agree.
but then there's definitely things, the opposite side of that is like, you know, so I was an athlete growing up. I love sports. I really, really do. And I'm also a musician, and my fiance is a musician. My fiance is also uh, tall for a woman, and I'm not short for a guy. I'm not tall for a guy, but I'm not short for a guy. So
Okay.
if we have a kid who gets her height with my athletic ability, and they end up not being an athlete, I will be semi upset. I will be somewhat upset. And then the double whammy is if like she's a musician and I'm a musician. If they don't want to play any instruments, I'm gonna be like, what in the world do I do for this kid? Like, 'cause that's all I know. That's all I know is sports, video games, and music. That's all I know. But I do believe it is my parental duty to find out what the thing is going to be that they want to do and then support them in that progress. So
Yeah. That's beautiful.
I,
And
I
it comes back to a little what we were, like, talking about before is, like, other people's attachment of, like, what they want you to be. And honestly, I've joked that I just want a little girl so I can stick her in rhythmic gymnastics, which is it's an Olympic sport that combines, like, ballet with gymnastics and, like, hula hoops and props, and,
yeah, I've seen that
like,
one. Yeah.
I wish I had the opportunity to do that as a kid. And it's like, oh, I'm actually struggling with this right now because my seven-year-old niece has, like, the perfect build to be a really incredible dancer.
Hmm.
Like, she has perfect ballerina legs, and I'm like, "Sister, please put her in dance classes," and my sister's like, "But she wanted to take singing lessons," and I was pissed, but, okay.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, "Okay."
It's
But
tough.
I also said to her, "I think you'd be really great at dancing if you ever wanted to try."
That's as much as you can do there, right? That's like that's
Yeah.
that's basically what we can do there. But
I know.
oh.
I even offered, I'm like, "I'll pay for her dance classes," and then she's like, "But she chose singing." I'm like, "Okay, gotta let go. You gotta let go, but you want people to be sometimes." A lot of times, really, because that's where a lot of disappointment comes from,
Oh
I
yeah.
think.
Yeah. Um Expectations, but not just like expectations. It's like because like an expectation is something you can establish is like something that both people understand is like supposed to happen. But I think like there's like a different word for maybe hope is the word. Like if I hope something will happen and it doesn't, but then I treat it as an expectation. And it's like I think that's like the big problem really between and like maybe there's just like a word I can't think of right now. I'm not great with words, but like it really just feels like that's the big problem is when hopes get treated as expectations. And
Mm,
that's when the most disappointment happens.
I could see that. Yeah.
Well, oh sorry, were you about to say something?
Nope.
Okay. Um Miss Twisted Rose, that's level 5. Congrats. You're killing it. You're doing great. Here we are at level 6. And so that means it's time for our super duper extra secret 6th level sub challenge, which means that anyone who hops into your stream the day of or the day after it's the first person that hops into your stream the day of or the day after that this video goes live and hops into your stream and says I made it to level 6 will get gifted a sub from me to them for your channel. If they are already a sub, I will gift a sub to your channel in their honor. So
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, so you just
Guys,
let
do
you just
it.
let me know. Yeah, so if anyone's in here right now that's not a sub, you guys just have to wait until this video drops, and then the next time Mr. Rose streams, make sure you pop in. So that means y'all need to have notifications on. That way you can be the first person to hop in and make sure it
I was just
happens.
gonna say that.
Yeah.
Go to his YouTube, click the bell. Do it. Do it.
So yeah, it's been this is
That's really exciting, thank you. That's so generous.
yeah, I mean, it's just something like I really appreciate anyone who will sit here and like actually like listen to this stuff because I think it is really important. Like even in this interview, we've covered some really important stuff. So I think it's important that people made it this far. So I would love to support people that made it this far. So And of course, I'm so gracious for you for being here. So the best way I can pay it forward is to gift one of your viewers a sub to your channel. So there we go.
Thank you.
But here we are, level 6. You got 2 more questions. Here we are. We've already. Can you believe we've already spoke for an hour? Can you believe that?
I can believe it.
Man, but it's flying by to
People
me. It's been great. But
people tell me I'm interesting sometimes. So
okay. I believe it. I believe it.
we're having a good time.
I'm learning that. Yeah, you are interesting. So level 6, Miss Twisted
Can
Rose.
you actually give me just 1 second to drop your YouTube link? It's being requested in my chat.
Oh yeah, sure.
Let's see. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Also, thank you, by the way, for telling me that those links weren't working. I could have sworn they were set up for permanent clicks. So I went through and edited those. And I actually just recently got my own like custom YouTube URL thing because I finally got 100 subs. So that's exciting.
Oh, exciting! Yeah, I just have a weird superpower for finding broken links, and just
Oh.
just being a marketing person, it was, like, always my literal job to fix those things, so I tend to tell people. Like, I'll have random friends, I'd be like, "Oh, your website's down." "What?" Like, anyway,
Cool.
um, follow his YouTube. Hit the bell. Okay, guys, I've posted his YouTube channel in my chat. Click it. Okay. Okay, we're ready.
Okay, level 6. Also, thank you very much for shouting me out. I really appreciate that. But, so, Mr. Rose, level 6. What's the best piece of advice anyone's ever given you?
Ooh. Hmm. Okay. I I don't know if this is advice per se, but somebody said to me that you are a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that hit deep. So, just like choosing who you surround yourself with
Mm,
is it's important.
okay. So, I mean, this kind of like oddly enough like ties into like what we were just talking about, like here you are in your, in your 30s, and I've said like what do you expect to drop in 5 years? But like so you see you have this advice about choosing your friends wisely, but now so like what's the struggle about putting this into practice? I guess I would say. Like if you've had this advice, do you think you've applied it well? But if you've applied it well, why do you still have this problem? Or a couple people? I shouldn't say a problem. Why do you still have a couple of a couple of relationships that aren't set up well for you?
Well, okay. I have actually applied it pretty well. And I honestly hope this doesn't come off as like snobby or pretentious in any way. Um but I think it's a more of a statement for more like a very career driven person. Is like if you
Mm,
want to be a good designer, have designer friends. So I signed up for my city's, official like graphic design and like group. And I met really cool people there that like filled this void I had.
interesting.
Um,
Okay.
so I could talk to them about like the things I do for work because sometimes you're not always lucky and sometimes maybe your life partner doesn't understand what you do for a living or they can't like go there in conversation. So sometimes you just want to know people who are like in the same trade as you, or maybe you want to really get figure crypto out or something, and so you go find some crypto friends.
Mm,
Um, also, it's like kind of to have an awareness. Now, I'm just gonna repeat a little bit of what I said before, and I don't ever want to sound like I'm like snobby and don't want certain people as my friends. It's really more the fact of setting boundaries when people like ask for too much from me. Uh where's I going with this? Yeah. So it's protecting my energy too.
Mm.
But also just it feels really good to like have a tribe. Um and honestly, like you can't get everything you need from one person. And so you need kind of like different kinds of friends. Honestly, like I said, I signed up for Twitch because I wanted more gamer friends. Like exactly. And so it fits.
So I wonder if, sorry, I'm thinking.
That was a hard one to answer or like justify, I'm going to say, but it's very thought provoking, I think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because all of a sudden you have to like, try to quantify all of the life advice that you've ever been given or whatever, but it's just like it's not possible.
Okay. Can I
Uh,
give you another one? Another life like a good piece of advice
yeah, sure. I'd love to hear it.
is that you don't need to care about criticism that comes from a person who like you don't look up to.
Oh, that is a great one. That is a great one.
And
Tell me more about that.
um honestly, like for one, if somebody doesn't know like really anything about like my trade or something, their opinion's a little bit invalid or I don't know. And it's it's also kind of a way of just like not getting your feelings hurt so easily by everyone and everything. I
Hmm.
think that's like a bit of the main thing for me. Um
Yeah. Uh,
and also it also like if you take everyone's advice on everything, you're going to get different advice from so many different people. So you need to focus on what matters.
yeah, and I honestly I think that actually ties in with like what you were the first one you just said too as well. It's like you're gonna, I think it is pretty smart to try to surround yourself with people um that have similar goals as you and similar skill sets as you. Clearly, you shouldn't like just like put yourself in a bubble where everyone in your bubble thinks the same way as you. Like we're not saying that, like, but it's definitely like if you're trying to challenge yourself and get better and feel, but also to feel like good about it. Like a soccer player is not going to ask a baseball player how good their game was, right? Like in like the same way a digital artist isn't going to ask some like a uh person that works with clay how what they think about their art. Like it's like there's definitely things that can be relatable between those things. Like a soccer player to a baseball player, they can both say like, "Well, you won your game, so you played well," and then a digital, a person that makes pottery could say to a digital artist, "Well, uh, you know, you sold, you know." 100 copies of your art, so you did well. It's clearly that's not like advice that necessarily grows you or like helps you, but like once you ask someone like actually in your field or actually in your almost like once you ask someone that's in your competition for what it is, all of a sudden it's a lot different. It's a lot
It
more
is.
productive of advice. So what would you say? You said you've worked as a performer for a
Mhm.
long time. Um well, I say a long time, but I know that that's been. Sorry, I shouldn't have worded. I meant more like mentally, you've considered yourself a performer for like for a while, and that's the passion that you've chased.
Yeah.
What's a what is a piece of criticism that you remember specifically for like your performance that like helped you grow?
Oh man. Well, really, really early on, I remember a coach yelling at me not to look at my feet. So that's a simple one, but uh, starting as a shy kid who always looked at their feet like their whole life to being someone with good stage presence has been like a really big transformation. I actually do have a circus performing mentor, and she's helped
Mhm.
me quite a bit in like a lot of aspects of my performing. Um, but what's one good piece of advice? I guess it's stage presence in the sense of understanding how to position yourself so other people like see you at good angles and that sort of thing like matters a lot.
Mm. That's like a
Yeah.
thoughtful thing that you can apply in every one of your routines, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And also like an application of that was one time I was performing in a at a we produced a theater show for this hospital that, like, was a play of their company theme, and the stage was what you call in the round. So, your audience actually surrounds you,
mhm.
and say I didn't know, I thought I was gonna be on stage or something, like, when I wrote my act or something, and so you have to think about, like, "Oh, how are these people gonna see you? How are these people gonna see you?" And kinda give all of them, like, some of your attention, make eye contact with them.
Yeah.
So so you feel like you're connecting with them, so
Wow. That's pretty cool. Well, Mr. Rose, that was 6th level. Congratulations. That was a good coverage. I feel like we could actually dive into that a much longer. But maybe that's the thing for another day. Um, you
okay, no problem.
you have made it to level 7.
I've made it,
The
okay.
the last level, the reoccurring question of 7 levels season 1, Miss Twisted Rose. What is a change in the world that you would like to see, but you're not sure you can do anything about?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah, I've had
Um,
I've had people take it multiple ways of death. I've had people take it, in a very um serious problem with the world that seems unchangeable, but I've also had people take it like a little bit more lighthearted, just like something that they know is impossible, but they wish it could happen, something like, so you can take it either way you want to, any way you want to.
okay. Okay, I'm trying to Alright, so I think overall as a society, especially well, my perspective is living in the USA. So, that's the filter I have of the world. Uh, I wish as a society we had more empathy for our fellow man, and it's really hard to see like the level um in which like people don't care for the homeless or people don't care about poverty levels and that sort of thing. I think a lot of people who are wealthy make a lot of selfish decisions sometimes, and I'm not going to say that as like a blanket statement. Um, but I've I've seen what corporate greed looks like firsthand, and seen victims of it. And people do really selfish things when the bottom line is the only thing that matters.
Mm.
Um, and so just like I just wish on a bigger scale that like there wasn't so many systems in place that just took advantage of people fundamentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that that becomes more and more noticeable um as time goes by, and it makes it really hard. It feels defeating, like seeing the things like that. So
Yeah.
um Man.
I have felt a bit more personal freedom that I've, like, removed myself as a cog in that, and I'm my own boss now. Um, so I believe that I can fix my surroundings and take control of my life in that sense, but, that's kind of like a major scale problem that a lot of other problems stem from. So,
Yeah. I
like
I've been working on that too. I mean, it's I really need a new pair of shoes. Um, but I do not want to buy shoes from a sweatshop. But it makes it really hard because it's like literally all the shoes you find are like made from labor that isn't like equally represented for minimum wage and stuff like that. And it makes it feel really bad. And then like even when people say, well, just go buy from Goodwill, it's like you don't understand. Like shoes are like I need new shoes. Like I need
wait, hang on. You Anyone who says, like, "Go to Goodwill," should go look up how much the CEO of the Goodwill makes every year. It is an astronomical amount,
true.
okay?
And
Like, no one needs that much money, sorry.
And
Ugh,
also, if I buy Nikes from Goodwill, that just means those Nikes got bought twice. You know what I mean? Like it's and like granted, one doesn't support the sweatshop, but one still supports the market of the sweatshop. So it's like, you know,
yeah.
it's
Well, that would at least be a more sustainable move, but I get what you're saying.
it doesn't feel guilt free, is what I'm saying on my end, which I hate. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think you're so right. Like the way in which people's efforts are manipulated. It's that's a good one. That's a really good one. That should be changed. Great answer. Um,
Yeah.
well, Miss Twisted Rose, congratulations! You've done it. You've beaten 7 levels. You made it all the way through.
I made it! I didn't crack under the pressure.
No, you didn't. You did incredible. What a great conversation. I really have enjoyed talking to you so much. So go ahead and take a second and tell all of YouTube um, where what's coming up with your community. What's the next things? What's something you're excited to announce or show off, or where can they catch you soon? Just tell us all about what you got coming up.
Sure. Okay. So as far as my streaming goes, I am playing Legends Arceus. I am #obsessed, and so I probably the next thing I'm gonna do is like go beat the game and catch some casual shiny hunting. Eventually, sooner than later, I'm gonna get back to my Pokemon Red game glitch series, which has probably been actually like I think has been the funnest thing I've ever done on stream. Um, it seems like my viewers have really been liking it, so, like, recently, I did the Mew glitch. I glitched in a level 7 Mew before I beat the first gym, and I did things like breaking wall planes and walking over mountains and, cross cities, like jumping 5 cities ahead in the game, stealing all the fossil Pokemon, just I want everything. I want everything. So, I actually have plans to go through to do a glitch series on Pokemon Emerald as well, once the red glitches are over. Also, this is the first time I'm gonna announce this, I'm going to be planning a charity stream soon, and, it's gonna be my first charity stream. The benefiting charity is Super Bowl of Caring, and what they are is they're a network that keeps tabs on the food levels, like in real time need status of food charities and food banks across the whole country. And one of the things they do is they focus on getting need to areas, focusing on areas of need the most, getting food to the people who like really need it. And I think it's an incredible step in solving the hunger problem across the country. And I admire, just the generosity of the spirit of that, and appreciate that they're like such a technology forward company. Um, so I'm gonna be probably playing Pokemon Unite and playing a little bit of a sportsy game to do that. I haven't picked an exact date yet, but follow my Twitter to see when that comes out. Also, I've been working on a new form of art called block printing, and basically, it's like an ancient art form where you have a block of wood and you carve pictures into it and make essentially a stamp.
Mm.
So let me show you my most recent one I made. All right, who's that Pokemon?
Oh, a Bulbasaur. Hey, buddy.
Yeah. So this is actually a way of making multiple original prints. And so while I'm honing my skills, like here's actually another one I made back here. So as I get these done, I'm putting prints in my merch shop. So keep an eye out for those.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much for doing the show for me. This has been an incredible conversation to end season 1 with. I'm really glad that we got to make this work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So,
Thanks for reaching out. I was so flattered by your invitation, and it was a blast.
oh, good. I'm glad you had a good time. Well, all that is left is for us to say goodbye to YouTube. So, Mr. Rose, thank you again. I'm glad you had a good time. And thank you, YouTube, for watching. Goodbye, everybody.